All right, I am really excited about this video. You can probably see from the title, or is it down below? I'm not really sure. But this is basically a video about how I use ChatGPT. I'm gonna probably say AI and ChatGPT interchangeably. So I'll actually break this down into different chapters. I think maybe I have like 5 or so chapters in terms of how I use AI and ChatGPT to help me with my wardrobe. So with that said, we'll start off with the first one. So the first way that AI helps me design my wardrobe is discovering my seasonal color palette. So I know what's trendy currently is to do a seasonal analysis. I feel like maybe that trend was like a little bit in the past, but I'm still like really loving it. I saw a bunch of people on YouTube get consultation services done, but they're quite costly a lot of the times. And I live in a city that I live in quite a big city, but still, I think that to go to those places, it might be a lot. I don't know if they're like legitimate or not. So I actually just started off with using ChatGPT as kind of my style analyzer. So with that, the outcome that I got is I think I am in autumn. I know I'm wearing black right now. It probably should be like a darker brown, but I just love black, so it's not like I'm gonna veer away from it. And after discovering I'm in deep autumn, what you can do also is further clarify like your best colors. So it says your best colors like rich, jewel tone colors, a lot of browns, a lot of tans, just things in the very warm like colors. And I guess like these kind of colors are a little bit more suited towards me, like this, like, my couch right here, this kind of color, but yes, warm colors. And so the way I did it to actually figure out my seasonal color is I actually just took a picture of myself. This is quite kind of easy. Just take a picture of yourself. You can take it with either no makeup on or very, very minimal makeup where it doesn't really alter like the coloring of your face. Like don't go on with like a full face of like, full glam makeup. Don't wear a lot of coverage foundation or anything like that. If you do have, a skin tint on, maybe that would be passable. But yes, so just take a picture of yourself and then from there, just upload it to ChatGPT. Say I want to do a color analysis and they'll just kind of like walk you through it. So I think it determined that I'm maybe like light to medium and I have a warm undertone. So, that mostly aligns with the autumn palette. And I think also I can suit like darker tones pretty well, just like my features, my coloring. So I think also, in tandem to that, I might be leaning a little bit like higher contrast, but I'm not quite sure because I have like a little bit of a light medium-ish kind of skin, so it's not like super light, so it's not like the intensity is, or the contrast is not like super contrasting, but I would say I can pull off, darker colors pretty well. Also, when you do your picture, I would actually recommend something that I feel like I haven't really seen anybody do online or anything like that, but I would actually recommend you put up a piece of paper like next to your face. Like I probably should have brought it here, but just take a piece of like printer paper, something that is like easily objectifiably like just white, a printer paper, put it near your face and then take a picture. I think that most people probably have like a printer paper around or just find something that is like a true white, and that's what you want to take the picture with because, for example, my walls kind of look like a white, and people usually just look at your wall and say, oh, it's like a white wall. But what actually is that this wall is a cool tone. This wall, I don't know if I'll like adjust the colors or anything, but this wall is slightly, ever so slightly blue tinted. So it actually has already of a cooler tone. It's a little harder for, the camera, ChatGPT to calibrate what is actually a true white. So having that true white of a white piece of paper, that will definitely help. So that definitely worked for me. I just held, up a white piece of paper, and don't even use like a bed sheet. Like you kind of think like, oh, maybe a white bed sheet, but once you throw in the wash, the colors all get wonky and stuff like that. So I would suggest a white piece of paper that is a true white. And so also personally for me, I am considered an autumn, but a color palette that I also actually kind of like is a winter. I kind of vibe also with a winter. I don't mind autumn. I think I like the deep autumn and then the deep winter palettes the most for myself. And so winter would actually be classified in the cooler tones. So that's not really a palette that would fit me, but because I like it so much, I actually used ChatGPT to like kind of ask it if I could take anything from like the cooler tone palette of the winter palette and see if I can like work it into my autumn palette. And it actually worked out pretty well. It did say, even though you are autumn, like you don't really suit cooler tones, but here's possible ways that you could include, hints of a winter palette into your autumn palette. And that actually definitely helped. The only thing though is I think that you can, move palettes or possibly take inspiration from the palettes that are next to you, but probably not across from you. So, in that axis thing, there's a palette that is next to you. So for me, in autumn, winter would be next to me. I think spring would be next to me, and then summer would be on the opposite end of me. So I think that there are elements of both a spring and a winter palette that maybe I can incorporate into my own palette. But for me, like if I wanted to be a summer, that would definitely be a lot trickier to do. Another thing that I did when I was like discovering my color analysis is that I've actually always wanted to try out going blonde. And especially for my very dark features, I was like, going blonde, first of all, is a commitment. I don't know if it's gonna look good on myself. And yeah, like what if I go blonde one day because I think it's kind of cool, but I end up hating it, and that would just be a lot of money, that'd be a lot of damage to my hair. So, I also use those filters, those like a Snapchat filter or like the Instagram filter to see if, what my hair color would look if it was blonde. It definitely looks fake just because I have such dark hair already, like going from a dark and then overlaying like a blonde on me. It's like, it looks fake, it doesn't look like convincing enough. But with ChatGPT, I was able to ask if I would be suitable for a blonde. And to be honest, to my surprise, they actually said it wouldn't be that bad. I just have to get the undertone of the blonde correct. So for the fact that I am a warm toned, it said, lean towards a warm toned blonde instead of a cool toned blonde. So go maybe for like a honey blonde instead of a platinum blonde. So I think that that was really helpful. I think that, to be honest, anybody can pull off any color. It's really just that undertone that you're thinking of. So like also in addition to blonde, like what if I wanted to go redhead? For that, I think maybe ChatGPT, I mean, I didn't actually put this into ChatGPT, but I'm thinking like a more warm tone would be like a auburn or a copper, and then something that wouldn't be right for me is like that cooler tone red. I think that, it could work for everybody, but it's just about the undertones. All right, now we get into chapter 2, which is defining my personal style. I'm an avid Pinterester. I already do this, but I have essentially like a mood board, an inspiration board of like style that I really like. So I've been collecting, for years, ever since like probably, I don't know, 2014 or something. So it's been over 10 years and a lot of pins. So I already have a mood board, but I would actually recommend you almost create like a mood board, collect a couple of outfits that you really like, that you like the style, maybe a style that you currently have, maybe a style that is aspirational to you, and basically all combine that into a mood board. So for me, I'm using Pinterest. It's just what I already have been using, so it was easy for me. All I did was I screenshotted my entire Pinterest board. From there, I put that mood board, that screenshot of all the outfits that I liked, put that into ChatGPT and explained it as my like inspiration mood board. And from there, I asked it to almost just analyze the mood board, give me some descriptive words. So I think that this is definitely very aspirational. When I say the words that I actually pulled, they definitely don't really sound quite like me, but it's an aspiration. When I go shopping, this is like, oh, I think about these words and I see if they kind of fit the mood. My words are minimalist, edgy, sophisticated, refined, and elegant. Again, those are all just kind of aspirational words. I don't think I've achieved them yet, but it's definitely something that I'm keeping top of mind now that when I shop, I think about these words and see if it kind of fits in. Basically, inputting my mood board definitely helped me understand a little bit more of my personal style, or at least a style that I would like to invoke. And yeah, and it's helping me kind of alter the clothing that I already have, and understanding that there are some clothing items that I feel like don't really fit into my style. And overall, it's just kind of fun. It's just kind of fun to just see like the styles that you like and see, what it all boils down to. What is the mood? What is the aura of that mood board? And hopefully it helps when shopping for your next clothing item. Okay, so chapter 3 in how I'm using AI to help design my wardrobe is building my wardrobe basics. with my mood board and also my color analysis in mind. And the good thing about ChatGPT is that it kind of keep all your history as well. With those two already defined, I was able to use that to build my wardrobe basics. So I basically asked ChatGPT about like items to start off with if I was like building my wardrobe from scratch, like essentials, basics, all those kind of things. And it was really awesome in how it essentially just tailored everything and just made it so easy to actually, you know, nowadays I can just go to a store and like try finding all my perfect items as well. So it also broke it down into different categories as well. So like you can also ask it for like, you know, overall, but you know, say you want to think about buying some pants that would really like elevate your style. You're in a pants lull, I guess. I don't know if that's a thing, but like maybe if you're just not happy with any of the bottoms that you have, like jeans, pants, all that kind of stuff, or skirts, you can ask ChatGPT about like things that, you know, would help, you know, elevate your style a little bit. So that definitely really helps in terms of just building your wardrobe basics and starting from scratch. It definitely streamlines the process a little bit and helping you just see what kind of items that you should go towards. And overall, like, I just really like this because it's definitely like more of a tailored approach. I feel like gone are the days of like those old magazine, like, you know, quizzes that say, oh, find your perfect style, and then you have to do a style quiz, and really all that they have is like 4 different options that you can choose from. And you know, usually the one that you end up with, it's like kind of your style but not really, like you don't like any of the pieces that they suggest. This way it's definitely a lot more tailored. You can get to like the nitty-gritty of like what you like, and that definitely helps instead of just getting a general like style recommendation. This one is definitely more tailored to you, tailored to your style, tailored to your coloring, and overall just more flattering for yourself. So we get into chapter 4, which is aligning my aesthetic to labels. Given my mood board and given my seasonal analysis, I used it essentially just to say, hey, you know, given those two, what kind of labels, you know, fit with my mood board as well as my color analysis. And from there, it was able to give me like a whole list of different brands that they suggested. To be honest, not all of them fit. Like I think, for example, one of them, Rick Owens, was like the very first one given my mood board. But to be honest, I did check out Rick Owens, you know, well, I've heard about Rick Owens and I checked it out after. It's really not my style whatsoever. So, you know, it's not perfect, but it definitely gives you a little bit like more of an understanding about how they're understanding what your style is. Another brand that they did call out was All Saints, which I love. I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite brands out there. I love All Saints. And so, you know, it does hit sometimes, it does miss sometimes. And then also I asked about luxury brands just because, you know, I'm kind of interested in, you know, in moving a little bit towards luxury brands a little bit as well. And so I did ask about luxury brands, and it called out my favorite as the first one, which, you know, definitely like I vibed with. I was like, okay, I see you. It called out Saint Laurent as my, you know, top brand. I would say out of all the luxury brands, my favorite would be Saint Laurent. I think that it's a little bit sleek, it's modern, I don't know, it's got the clean lines, and I really like that. I wouldn't say my wardrobe like fits that to a T, but I do really like it. So there is some, you know, validity in what ChatGPT I think is spitting out. Overall, in doing this, I hope that it just makes the process a little bit easier and basically also reduces the cognitive load of, you know, trying to research all these different brands, go to their new arrivals page, look through all the items that they have, and then, you know, keep collecting a lot of items. It just will hopefully allow it to streamline the process a little bit more in terms of like, oh, this brand is a brand that aligns mostly with your style, so why don't you look at this brand? And potentially can also open you up to new brands as well. There are some new brands I've never heard of. I think that there was like a Japanese brand on there that it recommended, and I looked at their website and I was like, wow, these are really cool. I think that they're maybe a little bit too crazy for me, but I still like admire the artistic approach. All right, so the last one I have here is optimizing my buying decisions. So I've already done the past like 4 items, but this is essentially the phase that I'm kind of like mostly in, is just determining what kind of pieces I should keep and what pieces I should return. After I, you know, had a collection of items that I really wanted to buy, I would screenshot that and then filter that into ChatGPT and ask them essentially just which items I should buy and which I should not. I followed it pretty closely, to be honest, in terms of which items I kept and which items I returned. To be honest, there's a human human element at the end of the day. It is you. You are the deciding factor. So it's really up to you. You don't have to follow it to a T. You don't have to be like, oh, they told me to keep this item, so I should keep it. Or they told me to return this item, so I will return it. You don't have to follow it exactly, but it's definitely there as like a helpful guide. I did follow it pretty closely, but you know, I made the ultimate decision of like keeping something when it said I should have returned it. And also, I did do a video previously in the year by now. I think it was like maybe a couple months ago, but I did do an unboxing of my YSL puffer bag. I did, in fact, use ChatGPT to ask if I should buy it. And they actually said, you know, given my mood board, given the aesthetic that I like, I should keep it. And I did. So those are all the ways that I use AI to help me build, design my wardrobe. It might not be all the ways that I use it, and it's definitely not the only thing that I use it for. I use it in my daily life. I am currently traveling at the moment, so you know, I am using it to plan excursions and plan my trip. So that's also a really fun way to use it. And it's definitely so helpful in so many ways just in building your wardrobe. But it's definitely been such a helpful guide in determining, you know, a little bit more about how to curate my wardrobe. And also another benefit of using AI is also just because it's not really like a one and done session. I feel like if you worked with like a service or something, for example, like a personal stylist, is that what it's called? A personal stylist, or worked with a service. I feel like once you work with a service, unless you have like a good relationship with that stylist and you keep up constant communication, working with a service can often be like a one and done kind of session where, you know, you just go into it one day and you get all your information that you need and then just leave and then just have like this Bible essentially. But it's not like you can ever like come back to it and be like, you know, ask it another question. The service is done and it's over. But with ChatGPT, because it has all the history, the past history, you can constantly just ask it. So I started a thread back when I first had ChatGPT, and I'm able to recall information that I asked it like almost a year ago. So that's really awesome. It's a really great way. It's a free way as well. And it's just overall a great starting point. It's free, it's accessible, it's a great starting off point. You don't have to follow it to a T. It's literally just a helpful guide for you, and it will be tailored to you. So overall, I think that there's a ton of cool ways that we can use AI to help us just make decisions. And again, this goes back to just everyday decisions too. I know, you know, building a wardrobe is a little bit superficial, but it can help in just, you know, your daily life as well. Anyways, with that, I am going to say adieu. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in another one. Bye.